This is why we do not do this live anymore. This is why it's entirely pre-recorded. Hello and welcome everyone to our final episode of FDG TV for 2022. Yeah, 22. We've been talking too much about FDG 2023. I forget which one we're on. I just want to double check. I am here. I am live. You can watch me now on the internet, much to my disdain and disgrace. I'm Tommy Thompson. We've got the rest of the team here. So, hello. Of course, you all know Anne Sullivan down here in the bottom right.
And Zoe and Kaylee.
Actually, and both the cats at the same time. And in the scene and active and moving at the same time. I don't think we had that in any of the...
Active is a strong word for Zoe, but...
She's going to get up soon because I'm talking.
And of course, over on this side, we have Antonius Liapis, who you never see in any of the actual recordings, but Antonius is essentially senior producer, I guess. You are the producer of the show.
He's the all caps of the show.
Yeah, so pretty much whenever we're doing, if you've watched any of the videos up until now, whenever we're doing the interviews and what have you, he's the guy shouting at us in the Discord chat, pointing out that we're doing it wrong and we're doing a bad job and etc. We did tell the FDG.
You're doing a great show so far, actually, because you're talking about me. So there we go.
Also, I'm going to say an honorary mention, of course, to Mike Cook. Mike is supposed to be with us today. Sadly, he couldn't make it. He had a bit of a minor emergency, which meant he couldn't jump on tonight. But he's still with us in spirit, which I think is the most important thing.
Hi, Mike.
Well, hello everyone. How are you all doing? It's so nice to be here on FDG TV and not just in Best Paper Watch.
So glad you could join us.
I'm not doing that again.
Are we going to do a full interview or what?
Yeah, that's actually our live interview is with Mike.
Yeah, Solid Reactor says in the chat, so Antonius is the one that tells Tommy off. Well, actually, you just tell everybody off, and you're going to see a little bit more of that later on. You will see a little bit more of just how much beef Antonius gives us. So yeah, like Mike has also been doing all the Best Paper Watch videos, and so you've seen them every episode as well. I was going to say, Anne, have you seen them yet?
No, I haven't.
Right. So this kind of speaks to the... Hang on. We need to start... We should go back to the beginning a little bit here, because we need to talk about the fact that, one, if you've never watched FDG TV before, just in case, the whole idea of it is it's predicated on the Foundation of Digital Games conference, which has been running this week in Athens in Greece. In fact, are you back home now?
I am in Greece.
But you're not in Athens anymore?
I am in Athens.
You are still in Athens, okay.
Yes.
So yeah, you've been at the conference all week.
I know I went to Athens, Georgia, but there was actually no conference there.
Excellent work. This field trip is funded by FDG TV.
And so we've been doing this now. This is the third year in a row where the idea is that because there was a thing that happened a while ago, right? I heard of it. It was called the global pandemic. Actually, that's redundant. It was the pandemic. And because we were trying to keep running these academic conferences and we were doing it all virtually, in fact, Antonius had the dumb idea of why don't we do like an evening chat show thing during the conference? And so this was originally something that you came to me with. You and Mike had this idea and then came to me and went, should we do this? This sounds dumb. There's no way we could pull it off. And I just thought it was the funniest, dumbest thing and said, yeah, fuck it, let's go.
Did you bleep that out?
No. It's fine. It's fine. We'll be okay.
It's fine. Yeah.
I get one.
There's 4 people watching. We'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
7, actually.
So...
Oh.
So yeah, like we did this for the first year and it went fine. And then the knock-on problem we've had isn't our success.
Because there is none.
But it's more the fact that, so all of us, it was you, me, and Mike that were like the 3 that kind of steered this, but it was you were running it in Malta, and we're all roughly the same time zone, very easy to coordinate. And then, what was it? So last year it was in Canada, and then we've got an American co-host, and you were, the first year we did it, we had different co-hosts every night. which we then realized was a terrible idea.
Well,
and also,
It wasn't.
but we
it
really
requires more uptake, right? It requires
Yes.
more. Like, let's not say it's a terrible idea. It's more like it requires more training.
yes,
Which
yes.
While here you build a rapport as you go, right? So you move from one episode to the next.
And
so,
I think particularly
anyway.
that first episode, or the episode actually, because Anne, you were the guest co-host one night, and that went down quite well purely because you just gave me a hard time during most of it, and then people were like, "This
Yes,
is
that
dope."
was this is pretty much my job.
Yeah, and so then last year we had that, and then this year it's in Greece. Antonius is there in person.
a lot of the audience members are there in person as well,
It's-
which is
Yes,
kind of leading to the problem.
some of them are virtual.
And so 3 of the 4 of us who actually do this weren't at the conference this week. So I'm still in the UK. We think Mike's still in the UK unless he's done a runner. And you're still over in the US. So yeah, it's just been a bit of chaos as we tried to then also interview guests who we also had guests coming in from pretty much every continent.
I was going to say, go for it, Tommy. Do it by memory.
No. I just remember we had them from pretty much every continent. So the time differences on some of the days was an absolute nightmare. And so we ended up, so this year we pre-recorded all of it and then spliced it together. And so the funny thing is that Mike did Best Paper Watch on his own, isolated. And I think the only person that's seen them out of the 3 of us is me. Because I had to edit them into the final versions.
I did see one of them, or at least an early cut of it.
Yeah, early cuts. Yeah.
Yeah, but I have not seen all of them.
Yeah, I've just decided no, I'm having a dram. So yeah, so that's it. FDG 2022 is over, and with it, the season 3. So, and because I've just remembered that we actually have show notes for today. And I haven't opened them.
Yeah. Oh, you were going from memory. That's excellent. Yeah.
Yep, that was entirely. Oh no, he's already highlighting stuff.
I was going to say it goes straight into the next question, which is how tired are we? And I think Antonius should get this question, given that you were also at the conference.
Right. I'm very tired, but I'm still here. Fortunately, not for long, but because we're gonna have videos, so we're gonna take a break.
Okay.
No, that was too ominous, I feel. But one of the things was because of the hybrid nature of the conference, we couldn't actually record on the same day because the speakers were busy. We also had to run around, do social events, etc. So that's another reason why we did the recordings way in advance. It wasn't just because we had different people from different countries. It's because it runs parallel. And it's let me tell you, it's exhausting.
Plus, you were
especially after a long time.
And it was, funnily enough, because we recorded the interviews 2 weeks in advance. Because you were at the Game AI Summer School in Chania the week prior.
I was tanking 2 conferences back to back, so that was fun.
After a couple of years of no physical conferences, I like that you just went hardcore. You're like, no, we're going to do double.
These are too many people. I cannot deal with this.
I mean, I have to say that Kaylee is exhausted.
Yeah.
I think Mike is too, as Tom's pointed out. He's doing a really good job of staying still.
Yeah.
He's just kind of in he's gone to his happy place, and that's what we get.
I thought we were gonna go Mike has a family emergency.
Internally screaming.
News yesterday.
No, I was not going to make any joke with regards to the Queen.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to start with the music.
Are we? Where's the show notes? Where's the show notes?
Oh, right, okay. Well, that's old hat now. We've got a king, so
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Great.
They got round. They updated their status pretty quickly. So
Oh dear.
New profile image and everything.
Yep, that's it. New profile photo. It's all good. So
Your
yeah,
friend who did this. Okay.
Pre-recording.
Had some issues.
We had issues with timing and getting everybody in the same place and getting everyone in the same time, because then we were like, oh, we're going to record that week, and I'm like, I can't because I'm not here and I was somewhere else. And then because we a lot of this is predicated on me pressing the buttons. So I was going to say,
very important role.
Yep.
For context, I think for everyone, the important thing to acknowledge is that Antonius, Mike, and Anne's work is much more on the first half, and then Anne actually is still quite involved in into the second half, whereas I really my work picks up in the middle, right up to the end, because you guys are more invested in the speakers that we get in and the topics we want to cover, but my job is we need to get this to look good. We need to make it sound good. We need to make sure nothing breaks, and then we release the damn videos. So yeah, that's kind of my side of it. And so yeah, we actually started planning this. We never planned this as early as I would like. I'm just going to say that now.
Yeah.
Is it July or something?
Yep.
But yeah. So. We actually have a bunch of stuff to do today.
Yeah,
We do.
you know, according to the notes, we should be moving to the next segment.
All right, boss.
Yes. There's our all caps. Stop talking.
It's fine.
So yeah, first up, we have actually. So one of the things we thought this was a good idea. Every year we have one new idea which we think is a good idea until we do it, and then we're like, why did we do this? So the first year it was this entire experiment. The second year was Best Paper Watch, where Mike was like, oh, you know, it'd be quite cool if like I just did a couple of videos where I ran around in the English countryside and talked about research papers. And we went, yeah, that's dumb, go and do it. And then he did it. This year
There's also the community photo challenge, which was started last year as well.
Oh, right. Yes, of course. So, you know, Anne was like, maybe I should get people to post photographs and stuff. And that was also something we did. But this year, Antonius, just in keeping with the theme, Antonius is like, maybe I'll get the camera out and I'll actually interview people live at the conference. And we said, yeah, that's another terrible idea. You should go do it. So you actually went and did it.
So we should watch some of those.
I should also point out that there's a reason I'm behind the camera at most times, and you'll find out why.
All right. So what's up first? Who's our first guest that you interviewed here?
So I give a short shout out because I felt like I should introduce the concept. I also want to point out that I actually, because it's a single take, I didn't want to stress my speakers too much, so I mostly interviewed people that I knew. So I'm interviewing Renata Delia, who's a lecturer at the University of Lincoln. So we're going to be seeing that spliced with some extra content from yours truly, I believe.
Excellent.
Let's see
if it works.
Hi everybody, this is Antonius Liapis. I'm a part of the FDG TV team, and I'm apparently the only member who is physically present in Athens. I'm here in Pandion, and I'll be trying to give you a vibe for how it is to be in person attending FDG in Athens for the next week. It's Monday, the weather is a bit drab, but we'll try to power through it. All right, take care. I'll be with you shortly. Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Antonius Liapis. I'm here live with Renata Delia. Renata is a lecturer at the University of Lincolnshire. Lincoln. All right, good. And I just grabbed her to talk about her paper on tarot. Maybe you want to tell us the title, or what's it about?
Yeah, sure. So hello and thank you. My name is Renata Delia. I'm an alumna of FDG of Malta, but now I'm a lecturer case at the University of Lincoln, School of Computer Science. My paper that I presented today at FDG is about tarot and ludic mechanics in tarot. The title is Manifesting Desire via Playful Mechanics in Tarot Readings. And basically I look at tarot readings and YouTube tarot readings especially, and see the ludic attributes and qualities of the process. And I argue that it is these attributes that allow tarot to show an act, to manifest as an act of self-care and have a therapeutic appeal.
But why YouTube? Is it just because of convenience, or is it because is it different? You know, since this is a hybrid conference, is it different when you do it virtually or when you're doing it physically?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a major point in my paper that on YouTube, the ludic attributes of tarot becomes even more pronounced because there's a choose-your-own pile, so to speak, that is absent from physical tarot readings. And actually, I received some very interesting comments and questions that further accentuated the ludic attributes of tarot on YouTube, which is that, first of all, exactly because on YouTube it has this distance of the medium, it's more playful in a way. So you don't have to pay for the service, you just scroll and look at the YouTube reading.
Okay, I see.
So it doesn't bring along the responsibility of having chosen to be read the tarot.
So then we're talking about, I mean, this is going to go way, we might cut this, but
yeah.
All right, so this has been already very long. Let's see how much of it we keep.
Yes.
Just to wrap up, you like tarot, I assume, but what is the next step in this line of research? Do you have one, or like this is self-contained?
Actually, this was a side project deriving from my PhD, because my PhD was about how games and game mechanics facilitate love. And part of this presentation is also that tarot and ludic mechanics in tarot also facilitate love as a matter of code and codification. Yeah. So if I manage to publish a book about codifying love, it will include tarot and games both.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Renata.
Thank you so much.
Take care, everybody.
Okay. Whew, we had a small technical meltdown in the background there because I'm like, could you actually hear this or not? And then for some reason I could actually hear a legacy version of the interview running in my headphones during, and I'm like, where's it coming from? But yeah,
we identified the ghost.
Thank goodness. Well, that sounded like an interesting project from Renata. And so yeah, you shot this on Monday. Was this the camera screen shut down during?
Sorry.
It says here in the notes that the camera shut down.
Well, no, it's just the screen itself shut down, not the camera. So there was a bit of a scare there. But yeah, the next ones actually have a bit better camera work. Yeah, because I was holding it because we're just shooting. The angles are not the best, but it was a first try and it worked out. So how many of these are we going to do now?
I don't know, producer.
It's up to you, boss. We could also jump into, because we have the photo challenge as well to have a look at.
We can do one more maybe. We can have Michael Ricardo Bueno Perez. He's a PhD candidate at TU Delft. He actually presented on Wednesday during the Game AI track. So I just grabbed him and had him talk to me right after his talk with no coffee. So he actually managed to do a very good job. I just want to mention the title properly because I'm not sure it's mentioned in the video. It's the Talemaker Database of Mixed Initiative Co-Creative Stories, and it's co-authored with Rafael Bidara. So whenever you're ready, boss.
Alrighty.
Hi everybody, I'm here with Michael Bueno. This is FDG TV live correspondence, and Michael just presented a paper on Talemaker. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I just presented today a paper called Mixed Initiative Co-Creation with Talemaker. So Talemaker is a game, a multiplayer game that you compose sentences and then submit them for a voting round where each player gets to vote for each other's sentences, and the one with most votes gets appended to the story. And the story is constructed like that, one sentence at a time, until the player decides to end the story, which is like it has a very cool dynamic in my opinion. And in the presentation that I gave today, I presented the details of the game.
Right, and just to connect it to the FDG track, this was in the AI track, and your game has some interesting AI about selecting what to offer to each player for story elements, right? You want to tell us a little bit more about the AI concept of that?
Yeah, so the players get tokens, which are the words that they get served, but like they don't get random tokens. What we do is that we try to to provide them with tokens that make sense for the story, but also tokens that might be relevant for the player. For example, the player might be wanting to collect tokens for a love story. So they might want tokens like hug, gift, date.
You're using synsets for detecting context, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we actually use a version of word vectors that instead of using words as the elements of the embedding, we use synsets, which are just sense annotated words. And so everything in the stories and everything that the players create in their sentences, every token is already disambiguated. So they can also, while they are putting tokens in or collecting tokens, they can also see the definition of what they are actually putting in their sentences.
You're actually helping them as well with the description. I forgot that. And also images. So.
And images, illustration, and also a category indication of that token.
All right, cool. I think that's a wrap for your talk. I'm gonna, I promised you we wouldn't talk about it, but maybe what's the future from, where do we go from here, right? What's the next step, either for Tailmaker or for you yourself?
Well, for the Tailmaker would be to get more players to actually contribute to the database of stories, because also the game has the purpose of collecting stories, and these stories can be used for research, like natural language processing, story generation, and other kind of tasks. So yeah, it would be nice if you could go and install the game, make a room and invite friends to play. So the link for the game is tailmaker.ai, and yeah, that's the next step. Join the game.
Very good. That's a wrap.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Michal. I'll see you guys later. Ciao.
Ciao.
All right. Thank you, Mikhail. So, Anne, before
Yes.
we've got even more of these interviews to come, but Anne, we also had the FDG, the Community Photo Challenge.
Correct. Yes. So we started that last year and we continued it this year. I think there may be some improvements for the hybrid version of the conferences going forward, but the idea is that on Discord in the FDG TV channel, we posted a theme every day and asked people to share the photos around that theme. So I believe the first day the theme was you. And so people posted photos of themselves, of community members, etc. And here they are. Yes. We've got AI, I believe that was Stable Diffusion.
Yes.
And then Laura hanging out with Buzz, the Georgia Tech Chaos mascot.
Yeah, what was it? She wrote something in the Discord about how apparently that mascot is absolutely chaotic and it causes minor damage to a lot of things.
Yeah, she was at a game, I believe, and saw the mascot steal a scissor lift, crash it into the stadium, and run away from the cops.
Was that part of the stage?
It's
magic
just
thing?
No. Anyway,
I was going to say it'll be a fine line between the two, I imagine.
And let's see, we've got Sarah Showman and Aaron Truesdell. Let's see, Sarah in this photo, she was in Athens. And Aaron was enjoying Dragon Con, which is a Atlanta, Georgia ginormous conference. Well, it's not a conference, convention that happens.
I was going to say, like, that would be the most, you don't tend to get cosplay at academic conferences. So,
well,
we can
you'd be surprised.
FDG TV 24, 23. We'll have a cosplay. Okay. Write it down, producer.
I hope Phil's brought that up. Speaking of Phil.
Speaking of Phil and Antonius.
I get that.
That's them saying, yes, we're going to do cosplay.
And blue aliens.
Cosplay competition, yeah.
And sunflowers and fish. Was that taken, is that on the conference grounds?
That is on site, and it will actually be we will see more of Phil in the future of this show.
Yes, he comes back later on. All right.
Yeah. Same background.
So
okay.
the Meow team.
Indeed.
The Meow team. This is the doctoral consortium group from FDG 2022. Laura Levy is the one that submitted this photo. And I was not at the doctoral consortium, so I'm not sure why it's the Meow team. I'm going to guess because that's what it says on the wall right there.
Right. So this
is fascinating.
So this is my big question: is it Meow team because they saw that on the wall and then they thought, oh, that's what we'll call it, or did they just go, oh, you know what? Here's some environmental storytelling, and then like spray painted Meow team on, and we're then like, yeah, we're Meow team.
We're going to leave that up to the viewers to decide.
All right.
And the police.
Yeah. We're not submitting any of this as evidence to the authorities. Moving on.
Yes.
Work.
I was going to say, I haven't actually seen these photos. I just dumped them in the folder.
So this photo was submitted by our own Tommy Thompson of Mike Cook.
Is that the one I posted in the Discord?
Yep.
Yes.
Because I was like, this is my favorite. I forgot I did that. Just because I was editing the Best Paper Watch together, and this was my favorite moment because he's actually sitting down to take his sunglasses off, and it's a very quick moment in the video, so I caught the exact frame where he grabs them before he starts pulling them, because he actually starts reaching for his glasses as he sits down. And so I just thought there's something about this that is just, it's just perfection. I love it.
Somebody turned that into a meme. Actually,
I believe there was. I believe there
there we go.
There was a version where it's used. The whiteboard is used for anything really.
Yes.
Well, there you go. That was your
back.
First photo challenge. Well done. And we had 3 photo challenges. So we're gonna go in. Do you want to go into another interview first, Antonius, before we?
Yeah, I think we can put a couple of interviews now and then go to the next photo challenge. So
sure.
Or actually, just one. Let's see.
So
okay.
Who's next?
I probably should open up my notes then.
There are 6 videos and there are 3 photo challenges. So one would think 2 videos per photo challenge. Not to backseat produce.
No, go ahead. So the next one is Andrei Zanescu. Actually, no, don't worry about it. Is Andrei Zanescu, who's a PhD candidate at Concordia University, and the paper is called "Designing Magic the Gathering's Amoket, Egyptianness and the Limitations of Cultural Resonance." So this was actually the only author that I had never met before. Stefano Gualeni did the introductions. So it went surprisingly well. We had to do a bit more, discussion before we jumped into the thing. But I think the result was quite interesting. Take it away, boss.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's Antonius Liapis live from FDG, and I have here Andrei Zanescu.
Hi.
Hi. And you just presented a paper on on Magic the Gathering, and that's all I'm going to say, just to get the viral tweets up. And you'll tell us exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I've been presenting one of my dissertation case studies about Magic the Gathering, specifically Amonkhet, the Egyptian set in Magic, and all the ways that they represent culture, how it's structured in each individual card, cycles of cards, and then the set more broadly, and of course all the problems and stereotypes that can come with trying to adapt something so complicated.
Okay, I'm going to open a can of worms, but this is why we're here.
Yeah.
Are stereotypes bad, or what is the, well, for the game design aspect? Let's not go super broad, right?
I think they're certainly unavoidable in this kind of framework, and depending on what the cultural report is, they can be good or bad, depending on who's using them. I think in this case, if we're talking about an American studio adapting Middle Eastern cultures, and especially focusing on antiquity, it reproduces a lot of bad blood from the 1800s and forward.
Right.
So it's a bit questionable, especially if it's done without any consultants or cultural stakeholders who are based out of Egypt in this case.
Right, that's true. So was it only... Okay, I have another question that is spicy. All of this is, we're going to cut all of it, by the way. But is it about the imagery? Is it about the mechanics? Is it about the names? Is it about, what is the stereotype, right?
A little bit of all of the above, right? So especially each card is a composite of the art, the name, the mechanics, and sometimes even the frames, which can look a lot like Egyptian temples.
Right.
So they kind of use small bits of everything to do that stereotype, and in some cases mechanics come into play as well. So
Do you have an example, or?
well, Amon Kit has an embalm mechanic where monsters that die can be resummoned as sort of mummified versions of themselves.
Right.
And there's not really any cultural backing to this other than it exists and it's vaguely understood to be Egyptian.
It's a wink, yeah, it's a wink rather than, you know, explaining exactly how this fits into the,
Yeah.
into the-
So I would say all of these things feed into the stereotype.
That's fair.
The question is, how do we challenge the stereotype or how do we move past it? Right?
And how can you make an Egyptian themed set without it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this was already really interesting. Maybe I wanted to touch on the future, right? What happens after this? What comes after ancient Egypt? Are you looking at other games, other types of cards?
So in my work right now, I'm contrasting it with their Greek themed set called Theros, which has a lot of mirroring concepts, mirroring cards to sort of differentiate, you know, what they do in one place and not in another to figure that out. But they've been churning through cultural sites everywhere. So Kaldheim, Scandinavia.
Right.
They've done Kamigawa, which is Japan,
Yeah.
both medieval and cyberpunk.
Gotcha.
They've done Yucca Penna, which is sort of Art Deco, Mafia New York, but also Italian futurism. Kaladesh is steampunk India.
Right.
So they keep doing this everywhere, and so I think every different site requires a different analysis.
You'll never finish your PhD if you
No,
talk
I'm,
like that.
I'm just gonna forever live in my lab.
What about, okay, I know we talked before in the green room, which is like this garden over here,
Yeah.
about Assassin's Creed. Maybe
Yeah.
like a super quick one. What are you looking in Assassin's Creed specifically?
So the way that they do cultural simulation or representation, whatever we want to call it, which is very different from Magic, less
Okay.
based on abstract concepts across systems, and a lot
Name
more
dropping.
about name dropping, historical places, sort of trying to render the place the way that people might have lived in it, but in a very compressed scale. And the fact that that leads to other problems and other advantages, right? So compare and contrast between game
That's-
technologies.
That's very good, yeah, like because you're compressing, which means you're redacting, you know, like it's embedded, right? Like you can't avoid it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. I don't know how much of it you saw, but all right, let's go back.
All right.
It's a really good thing that you wave at the end of those, Antonios.
Yeah.
It is
really
useful
gets
for
us
me
through.
to know when to.
Yeah, well, we can't. So Antonios and I can't actually hear the sound on the video, and so we're just like, I don't know.
So
we're
you're
making up what's
Nodding
happening.
along. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never fixed that part of the technical production.
Well, we tried to fix it, and then you got upset that there was a ghost in your machine. So
I only fixed it in the closing. We only tried to fix it like 5 minutes before we aired because I was too busy trying to figure it. Anyway, we have more
Yes.
photo challenges, and tell me all
But
about.
wait.
no,
Oh, we do- oh, we
have
do- oh.
another-
But wait.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's
There's more.
more.
Okay, so we're doing
Video.
another video. Sorry, my bad.
We are doing that.
This is why we shouldn't do this live.
Actually, I wanted to point out, you mentioned before, if you haven't heard about what FDG TV is, don't tune into this. Don't use this one as your point of reference.
Actually, no. Tune into this one because what you see now when you watch the videos of our episodes is really just the straight bits of this with all the crap cut out. But that's why we have the gag reel at the end.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a gag reel of all of our mistakes when we were trying to record all this in advance.
All of Tommy's mistakes.
What do you see here is what Tommy has to deal with in order to make the edited
Yes.
version on YouTube. All right. Anyway,
Speaking of,
back in Athens,
get on with
I am
it.
still in Athens, but yeah. I had a chance to interview Konstantinos Dimopoulos, it was a keynote. His keynote was playing with the building blocks of Utopia, and Konstantinos Dimopoulos is the head of games at Athens and author of the Virtual Cities Atlas. So this was shot right before the keynote, and it's shot at apparently a very green area, which was also had a lot of passing by traffic. So enjoy the unedited, sound.
Traffic is a theme in these interviews I've discovered. But,
Unfortunately, yes.
cool, let's do it.
Hi everybody, this is Antonis Liapis. We're again live, and I have here Konstantinos Dimopoulos, who is the keynote today.
Yes, I
So, Konstantinos, tell us about what you're here to talk about.
Well, I'm here to talk a bit about urbanism in video games and also on constructing utopia within video games and the opportunities the medium affords us to inspire people to imagine a different society, different urban reality, and generally perhaps a way to provide a newer utopian dream with its technical scaffolding.
So is that utopia virtual or is it real?
It's about the real actual utopia, as in the ways we could improve things and the ways we could change and reimagine things, but using virtual tools and virtual worlds. Effectively, instead of speaking about the fake virtual that we tend to do in games and in virtual worlds, let's speak about the potential virtual and the inspiring virtual, something like that.
So, I mean, okay, this is a very broad discussion, but games are inspiring for different reasons. How does, utopian or evocative game worlds or virtual worlds, how can they change the present or the future?
I would say that mainly by allowing us to imagine things that we feel are impossible. I mean, seeing something modeled and seeing something functioning even within the confines of a simulation, the magic circle of a video game, it can still feel plausible and palpable enough to at least trigger your imagination in a way that would be even politically meaningful, or at least it could help you appreciate and critique things.
That's really cool. So just do you have an example of an existing game or simulation that does that? Or
thinking that it's not a good or a positive example necessarily, but SimCity did influence how we approach and how we understand on a societal base, let's say, urban planning.
That's a good point.
It's not done rightly, and its models are old and wrong, and they've got all things against them.
Yeah.
But still, it's a very, very obvious example of how it works. And then you have, Pokemon Go, where you have millions of people worldwide interacting with urban space in a completely novel way, and perhaps appreciating stuff they never noticed existed. So, completely off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's very good. This has not been scripted at all, guys.
Shockingly no. Shockingly no.
All right, thanks a lot. I tried to take some time to talk about the future. So, what are your future plans?
Well,
in general,
work mainly,
fair enough.
And games and a bit of teaching here and there. Another book.
All right.
That's quite
that's a lot. That's enough. Okay.
Quite enough.
It was a bit broad, so I was like, just coffee.
Coffee.
Just coffee
like
is
my
good.
immediate plans will involve coffee. So
Very good. Long term, the book. All right.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Constantino.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. All right.
All right.
And we're back.
We are back.
We're back.
I also want to point out that the building blocks of Utopia did not include Flora trying to attack our keynote speaker, but it is what it is.
The perils of doing on-site conferences, I guess.
Yes, it's those one shots.
If this was our problem, then let that be our problem.
Let that be our problem. Speaking of places and potentially full of stuff. This is a terrible segue. And
this comes later.
I was going to say, because I was about to say, speaking of places full of flora and fauna, and then I'm like, no, that
That's
actually
another
confuses two different photo challenges. And day two, let's get on with it.
So day 2, we asked people to share the place. So photos of where they're enjoying FDG from. And so we got quite a few photos of Greece, but that's not all of it. So this is of Hydra, actually. Although I believe Xavier actually did end up, going to Crete, but the photo is of the trip there.
Hydra is a small island close to Greece, so you could, in theory, go for one day and have a coffee there.
I believe Laura and Henrik are enjoying FDG TV from there today.
From there?
From Hydra.
Excellent.
I'm sure I will get corrected if I'm wrong.
Yeah, we're waiting for more photos then.
This is from Kate Compton. She did
Nice
not say
panorama.
where this is from, but I'm guessing it's a panorama from where she was
Say,
staying.
that's in Athens, because you can see the...
Yeah, it's definitely in Athens.
Well, yes,
As an
But I
Athenian,
believe it
can
was taken
attest.
from her
Rooftop.
Laura
Yeah.
confirms they just got back. So,
Okay.
Told you.
All right.
from Hydra, so there you go. But yeah, you can.
Thank you, Antonio.
That's why I'm the producer.
But yeah, you can see the Acropolis up there on the hill.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. We have a lot of Acropolis, I feel, in the coming
Possibly.
shot.
Made me a little nostalgic because it's been a few years since I've been in Athens. But I was like, oh man, because I actually I was like, all right, well, based on roughly where that photo was taken, then trying to figure out roughly where maybe my hotel was. But anyway, Mike Cook didn't get the memo because that's not Greece.
Yeah.
He's
You
like,
can see.
I hear old architecture is all the rage in Athens. So he went to York.
In England.
This is yes.
The old
And
York.
took this photo.
Not New York, Old York.
Mm-hmm.
Was he at the Iggy conference?
Yes.
Original York.
Yeah. There we go. Next up. Got to make sure we catch the game.
Yes, a basketball game in a cafe in Athens.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, again.
Yep.
Yes. These are obviously postcards
From Crete, actually. Yeah, because Kate was also at the summer school. So there's an abundance of, paraphernalia and memorabilia, actually, was the word I was looking for.
Or might be both, who knows?
Whatever you can get past customs, you know?
Exactly.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a cracking photo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is from Ariana, and obviously Acropolis again, but with the full moon or fullish moon.
Yep.
Very moody.
Mm.
Nice lighting.
Yep. It's a good photo.
Yes.
All right.
And we're out.
We're back at the start. Fantastic. And we've still got a couple more interviews to go as well. Do we not?
Yes, we do.
We've got one more. We've got one more from this conference, right? So
Yes.
we've got the business of FDG 2023 to talk about as well.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct.
So one of you to take the lead here.
I'll take the lead. I'm not sure what you wanted me to say because I'm like, are we going to be
You know what the next interview is about.
I know, I do.
You recorded the thing. I just pressed the button.
God damn it. Okay. So what I did was I interviewed Kostas Karpouzis, who was the general chair of FDG 2022, the late FDG 2022. And here he's talking again in a familiar bush about how it worked out. Kostas Karpouzis is an assistant professor at Pantheon University. And let's take it away because I have nothing else.
Hi everyone, I'm here with live with Kostas Karpouzis, the general chair for FDG 2022. Hi.
Hi Andonis.
Hi. So we're here in Pandio. Costa, I wanted to ask you maybe your take. How are you enjoying FDG so far?
Before we go into that, am I allowed to say that I've worked with you ever since you had long hair?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. That was a much better time for both of us.
He was like Highlander, with a trench coat and stuff.
We're gonna cut all of this. No, it's fine.
So it was refreshing to see people in 3 dimensions and in glorious high definition after a couple of years. I'm very happy to see that the spirit of the FDG is as alive as always. Had around 100 people, around 80
in person, right?
Around 80 in person and 15 or 20 presenting remotely. Quite a few interesting sessions. We had 4 very interesting keynotes. One of them is about to start right now. My personal favorite, if I'm allowed to say, was yesterday's keynote by Siddhartha Sen, who is a principal investigator in Microsoft Research in the New York lab. So plenty of stuff going around. This is the Pantheon University, our venue, and it's a University of Political and Social Sciences. And I think that this year's program has a very good mix of the humanities, of the softer side of things, so to speak, plus the usual stuff like
technical, the technical parts.
which is one of the strengths of FDG, right? Like having a place where all disciplines can kind of like, find their way in the multiple tracks.
Exactly, and it's that interaction and that dialogue, that osmosis that I think makes this a very vibrant community.
Yeah. I think that's a wrap. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you next year in Lisbon.
Right. So I'm probably going to have to bring someone else to talk about that. Thanks a lot, Costa.
Ciao, bye.
Bye.
We're getting production notes in between these sessions, and it's really sad that they're not getting to hear this, Antonio. So you're like, your segues are really bad, guys.
We actually did just get told off, which is top notch. I'm so happy this is the last time I have to listen to this for this year.
Is it?
Wait a minute, no.
But we're not doing another episode. No, because we already had the whole "Are we doing the live episode?" and then we'll do the live episode, and then an hour before it, like, why did we agree to do the live episode?
We actually recorded. Go for
exactly. Go for
it. We actually recorded 2 endings to the last pre-recorded episode because we did not know if we were going to do the live episode or not.
Yeah, so if you watch the last, it was episode 4 very closely, you can see the point where I cut it from one to the other, because I think we originally recorded we'll do the live episode, and then we had a minute where we're like, right, now we're going to record the ending again, saying we're not doing a live episode, and then I had to cut it to the ending of the video.
Right.
So yeah.
But here we are.
We did it.
Sucker.
3/4 of us. 3/4 of us made it.
Bad decisions. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Mike saw sense. Mike bailed out when he could. But right, yeah. So let's talk. We had one more photo challenge. We've had some solid photos. The photo game has been strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we did flora and fauna. So people sharing. Well, I mean, I think it's
covered
explanatory. Yes, animals, plants. And Antonio's starting out strong with the stray cat hotel.
Yep.
That he found.
I was quite impressed that people just, built it out of nothing, and they were feeding the cats around. So it's quite nice of them.
Very cute kitties. This is from Kate Compton again. And Minoan face work, I believe. Did I pronounce that correctly, Antonius?
I don't know if it's been known or not, but let's say it is.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not a comment on you.
What do you mean? You don't know your culture?
Oh, dare you? I just appreciate.
It's certainly an octopus.
Yeah, I appreciate it because of the octopus. Mm-hmm. It's not something you normally see or think about.
I felt like this photo was decidedly on brand. I was digging it. Mm-hmm. That's a Kate photo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay, so we've got 2 things here. We have the sighting of the FDG tour, and I did put in the arrow so you could see them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have, oh gosh, I can't speak Latin. So Laura, correct me in the chat. Swedish Academy. I'll go with that. The very rare sighting.
A rare sighting, yes. Normally spend their time indoors.
That's Henrik Markfeld.
Yeah, sorry, we're terrible people. we know each other.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, that's kind of, there's an unspoken thing here that we actually know the people involved in this photo. So it's like, yeah, we're kind of in on the joke. Also, as Niels points out in the chat, Kate's photo is probably from the Chania Museum, the Archaeology Museum.
Okay.
And Laura confirms that she might need a rabies shot after getting this close to the wild animal in order to get the photo.
The Swedish Academy.
Wasn't it somewhere in the notes there was also an issue that apparently this particular specimen was suffering a minor bout of rage on account of the hotel Wi-Fi going off or something like that?
Yes. Yeah, which is probably why the rabies shot is necessary.
That's why we're outside. We're just trying to get a signal of some sort
from the cafeteria downstairs. Ooh,
cat. Another
Parthenon, but focus on the right things.
Whatever. What's important here? Again, I put the arrow so you could know what was important in this photo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this was late breaking fauna Fauna Sighting by Kate Compton again.
Very nice.
And then
Ooh.
Charlene with an Athena owl, which I know you'll be so happy about, Antonio's. I even put the Athena owl logo
I
in the
noticed
background.
that. Yes, perfect.
We tried a few different backgrounds for the FDG TV, and one of them was the Athena owl, but did not get chosen in the end.
Did not tile very interesting.
I think it was just because every one of them
there
that
would
we
be
had,
1,000 owls.
it was either difficult to put the owl in, or I'd just have to pop the owl in at like 8 different sides of the image in order for it to be seen, because you know we're hanging out in a 3-shot or whatever. But anyway,
Right.
And oh yeah, there we go.
And that would be it.
So we've just actually had a suggestion in the chat from Solid Reactor, who I apologize in advance. I'm pretty sure I've led them here. Our talk about video with multiple endings makes me wonder if it would be a bad idea to make an FMV game of FDG TV for next year. I mean, you guys seem to greenlight and go with bad ideas every time.
That's a good point.
Or all the time.
That's true.
So yeah, like what we could do is just record multiple different videos and then let people play it. And you get to have some of the interviews and then different endings where we all die, or...
Yes.
Or
this is very somber.
Hang on, another one.
This is a very somber episode because obviously we're all mourning.
Oh goodness.
Or we all have a jolly good time and log off and you know, maintain healthy work-life balance.
Okay, so that's the hidden ending.
That's the joke ending.
I think that's it. Oh no. Oh god.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it'll be our version of Bandersnatch.
Yes.
FDG Snatch. No, never mind. Can we bleep that out?
Let's go to the next episode.
All right, so next video.
Okay, I'm on it. So we have 7 more minutes to go. And we have 1,000 hours of blooper reel, I believe. So
it's only about 6 or 7 minutes of blooper. We're fine. But I have one final interview to show you, and this was the most fun interview. It's with Phil Lopes. He used to be my PhD student. Now he's a lecturer. I'm sorry. Why? People know that I.
People know that you're.
All these other people I interviewed, they were all right, but you know, this one was a burst.
Well, anyway, he's an assistant professor at the Lusofona University and the general chair of FDG 2023. Also, we took multiple shots. Exactly. We did multiple shots because I am not very good at camera work. So here we go.
Alrighty.
Excellent.
Look at that. It says 001, so that's a good sign.
Okay.
All right. Hello, everybody. We're back. I'm Antonio Lapis with FDG TV, and I'm here with Phil Lopes.
Hello.
Of FDG 2023.
Yes.
All right. So tell us, where is FDG 2023 going to be?
So FDG 2023 will happen in Lisbon, Portugal, in a very sunny Mediterranean, similar to Athens.
Yeah. Right. Well, we had to find the shade here for our shooting. So
yes.
And it's going to happen very soon. From
yes.
What I hear.
So FDG 2023 will happen in April. So that means the call for papers is already open and will close on the 4th of November. So be sure to submit your papers.
And also your workshop proposals and your panel proposals.
Exactly. So workshops, panels, and tutorials and competitions, if you are into AI competitions, all of those are open. And if you have ideas for cool workshops or cool topics you want to explore in the conference, make sure you submit also for those for that call, which is on the 21st of October.
All right, wow, you know all the numbers by heart.
Yes.
I can hardly operate this camera.
Well, I've been looking at it for a long time, so.
All right, so since we actually rehearsed this because this is our second take, is there a special theme next year?
Yes, so there is a special theme. It's called New Beginnings, which is kind of the idea of that we're now leaving confinement and slowly transforming into more in-person conferences where we get to actually face all of the cool authors that we read about over the past 2 years. And also the idea of inclusivity and mostly how we can explore different types of ways to include people with disability, health issues into our awesome hobby.
Okay, we're back, and I just want to wrap up. So, anything we should keep in mind before FDG 2023? I mean, you told us about the deadline.
Yes.
But
So the deadlines is very earlier than usual. So a good couple of months earlier than the traditional March deadline. So it's right now in November, but we feel like this shift was going to be better for the whole community, given that they will have more options to submit their papers throughout the year instead of everything being overlapping each other. So this is kind of the idea of why we're switching to spring, and I feel like it would also provide a more, break between different conferences.
right. So new beginnings. That's it. Phil Lopes, Lisbon, 2023.
Yes. See you there.
Take it easy, guys. All right, and that was Phil Lopes, the general chair of FDG 2023, and as you probably heard, it's in April in Portugal. So you need to start preparing your papers soon because the deadline is November.
Okay. I'll be back. I need to go.
I was going to say, you should be writing. Yeah.
What are you on? Why are you on YouTube?
Everybody, why are you watching this? Get out of here.
That's for children.
I'd say thanks for watching FDG TV 2022. Get on with writing your papers. But
we have one last bit, I believe.
We do. So, I mean, actually, Niels is just saying, planning to be attending FDG 2023, hopefully with a paper to present, and also hopes to have a paper to present. I mean, good luck with that.
Yeah, thanks.
No, I mean, that sounded way more sarcastic than I meant.
We know nothing on this channel about asking questions
Tact.
in a way.
Tact, really.
This is why we have to pre-record it, because we have to ask the same question 4 times. So yeah, this episode was a little bit different because this final live episode was a little bit different because usually what we've done the last couple of years is we actually treated it as a post-mortem, where we actually got a lot. Well, we opened up as questions to the viewing audience or even in advance, we got them to submit questions to us to discuss. And so you can go back and watch them because we talk a lot about the process of doing this. And particularly, I think when we started doing this the first time, when Antonius, you and Mike had the idea, were peak COVID lockdowns. So trying to figure out how to actually get all this to work was a challenge. I mean, I was literally brought in because you needed someone dumb enough to press the buttons, but also someone who was smart enough to know which buttons to press.
And you are great on camera. Let's not forget that.
I don't know about that. This is why I don't
Your-
live stream.
You saw
Your audio levels are great.
you saw my shot, so
Yeah, but that's because you're outside next to all this traffic, and there's a wind tunnel and a bush is trying to eat you and stuff, and you're like,
Yeah.
so I'm here with this person. Whereas I'm here in this.
Welcome to the
controlled
match
environment.
against.
Our live correspondence.
Yeah. Yeah, like the weatherman that have
Yes.
to sit outside in the snow. This is cold outside.
That's
It's
okay.
raining
Doesn't feel like a
sideways.
debrief. Yes.
So hey y'all, we have tried a lot of things on this show. What things did you like about the show this year?
Tell
I'm
me.
gonna start. I'm gonna start with Antonius.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't start
thanks.
with me. I don't know yet.
So it was, I liked that we pre-recorded, because let me tell you, if we had not done that, it would have been impossible to produce.
It would have been the we all die
because-
ending.
Honestly, yes, because the hybrid conference is already very taxing for everybody. So even if you have one paper, even if you're just attending, you would not have the brain space to, answer a single question after, a couple, 5 hours or 7 hours of attending the conference. So that was great. I also like that this year we had prepared quite in advance. I don't know what Dr. Thompson here says about us planning a bit earlier, because all the speakers were actually quite had the questions way in advance. So the flow of the interviews was very good, way in advance compared to previously, which was, a couple of hours.
Yeah, I think we got it to 2 days.
Yeah. That's what I meant. I mean, yes. Let's be clear.
And yeah, also Solid Reactor says, what was good, and then what was bad, and what would you like to improve? Kind of embellishing.
Yeah, that's actually. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. But tell me first, what was good?
All right.
Don't weasel out.
You're right. I was good. Let's see. Oh, I was gonna go.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Okay, continue to think. So for me, definitely, I think the thing that I enjoy the most is the community involvement, and so that actually goes into what I would like to improve. I feel like in the virtual space, we had some really good ideas about keeping the community involved with FDG TV, and I'm hoping we can continue that, as we move to more hybrid and or not hybrid, but all in person. I'm hoping we can keep the community really involved in FDG TV because we're here for y'all. And I guess laughing at each other.
I was going to say that's probably my favorite part, is that we have more opportunity to mess up in the recorded sessions, because when we do it live, we have to, bearing in mind this live version is not reflective of the typical experience. You go back and you watch like the first year or so. The first year we did it entirely live, and it was all incredibly stressful.
Yeah,
I think I nearly had a stroke at the end of every episode, because I'm just like, this, we somehow managed to make this work and it didn't blow up in our face. And the thing is that the show has got increasingly more complicated with every year, because then we have Best Paper Watch, then we have a gag reel, now we've got 7 live interviews that Antonius has recorded and need cleaned up and then put in, and then also we've got photo challenges that need to have all this done. And so there's all this stuff that needs to get put into the production, and if we did this live, I would probably break down. So the fact that we get to do it recorded is good, but also the fact that, as you'll see in a moment, when we'll end with the gag reel, that we mess up a lot, and it's actually quite fun when we mess up, and it gives us an opportunity to take another crack at it. So I think that was my favorite element of it. My least, not say my least favorite, but what needs to improve was we pre-recorded all of it with 2 weeks to spare, and that's just a time management thing for myself, because a lot of the stuff going on, and so it was literally, I'd often be closing one project that I'm doing either for myself or for a client, and then I'm opening up FDG and I'm like, right, I need to get this edited tonight because Antonius is like, where's the episode? And I'm like, well, I'm going. I think also, Anne, you kind of spoke to the other thing of this year balancing it with a live audience. And actually the interesting thing is, I'll be interested to see how many people watch these videos next week once the conference is over, versus airing them the week the conference was, because now that a lot of people are back at the conferences, you're not going to be as inclined to sit and watch the videos as they're released, because you're at the conference and you're engaging in the social elements and what have you. Whereas, when it was virtual, there was watch parties happening in the Discord for it, because it was the way to, like you say, to keep engaged with the community. So trying to figure out a way to balance that, I think, going forward, because there is still people that are only participating virtually. And I think we've all had this discussion before, and I know Mike's brought it up as well, that like, this is the new norm. There's always going to be a certain proportion of people that are ideally are always going to, in terms of their personal circumstance, are always going to be engaging virtually, because that suits them for whatever reasons that might be. And so hopefully the conferences continue to provide for that. And maybe we can help out with that too. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the idea, again, the original idea was to help people during a difficult period to, feel a bit more, see a variety style talk show. If we don't have that, if we just have physical conferences, is FDG TV in its current format useful, right? That's
It's an open question.
it's the somber tone, but I mean, it needs to be discussed, right? Or does it need to change format, or does it need to be episodic and not during the conference? All these things are good questions, because again, you can't expect engagement when you actually have to see everybody, in the few days that you're in Athens, in this case.
I was going to say, Solid Reactor said one of the first things to do is hire an extra editor and then just finalize it with a Tommy stamp of approval. There's a certain YouTube channel that I also host that would really would appreciate an editor if I could afford it. So one step at a time. But yeah, like I think we're also victims of our own enthusiasm at times, because it's like, oh, we're going to try and do this thing now, and then whether that's going to work. Because it was like such a dumb idea when we did this 2 years ago. Where it's like, we'll do this thing and see if it works. And then actually people liked it. And so it's like, all right, we'll keep doing the dumb thing. And then we're getting increasingly more elaborate with every year.
It's called feature creep. Literally.
Yeah,
I mean, then we have the multiple endings and everything. So.
I know.
Yeah, multiple endings next year. And yeah. Well, one of the things I think would be, and we've talked about this before, but getting more people involved.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
And that,
share the pain.
Share the burdens.
Yeah, if we write a blog post or something about
not again.
How
Mike
dare
isn't
you?
here. Bring
How
back Mike.
dare you?
Bring back Mike.
Right, yeah, hang on. So Mike we have a Discord server where we run this, and we actually give tasks to ourselves. We often assign ourselves tasks, and one of the tasks that has been in there now for 2 years is writing the blog post on how we did this to share it with other people. Has he ever started it? I don't even know. No.
Laura has a great idea, by the way.
I've just had so many other things going on, really, that I've just not had the time, really.
I can't even get to FDG TV live.
Well, I don't know. Right, I'm going to stop doing that because he's going to get really annoyed at me.
Laura has a great idea from the chat. FDG TikToks during the conference.
Yeah, we thought about that. I thought about doing the shots in TikTok format.
Yeah, I think that was the original idea.
Wasn't that the original idea? But your response was, I don't want to do TikTok.
Honestly, YouTube editing tools were not particularly better, so I could try it next time. But yes, that was actually an idea. I mean, we can still put them on TikTok instead of YouTube, but
you can do all of them, all of the above.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Have our official FDG TikTok correspondent.
Yes. Apply now.
TikTok at fdg.org.
You'll get paid as much as we do.
Oh wow.
Sorry.
Ah, dear.
I'm not bitter.
No.
I just think it's funny that we do all this work. Okay, anyway.
So
we're gonna bring this to a close, I think.
Yeah, I think it's time.
But
it's time to say thank you.
So yes. So thank you to Antonius for berating us. To be fair, like
anytime.
One, Antonius does kind of enjoy this to some extent. But two, when we do
yes.
When we do the interviews, like Antonius does keeps us straight and keeps us honest. Like he is actually kind of actively paying attention to whether or not what we're doing is actually going to be any good, and that's useful for me because then later on when I edit it, I don't have to cut out all this stuff where he's like, "Nope, that was crap. Cut out that 5 minutes of interview." Like, funnily enough, as you're going to see in a minute with our blooper reel, we never cut. Actually, this year didn't cut any of the interview. The interview parts of every episode are fine. They're great. The bits we cut is where Anne and I make a mess of it.
Are just idiots.
So, Antonius is pretty good at monitoring the interviews and then telling, oh, this is the question we should focus on next. Okay, let's move on to this. Helping maintain the pace of it and maintaining the energy where appropriate. So, thank you to Antonius. Thank you to
Anne.
Because Anne is a force of nature.
I see.
Oh yes, and chaos.
Yes.
Chaos and cats.
Chaos and cats. That's it. But also we have fun doing this. It is quite silly and it is quite ridiculous. And also we're trying to do this with our straight faces, so which is also very difficult. Thank you to all of our guests who came in to speak with us this week.
In the middle of summer.
In the middle of summer, in an awkward time, sometimes having to do it where people are getting up very early or staying up very late in order to chat with us over a Zoom call about their research paper, which in the grand scheme of things is kind of pointless, maybe. But one of the things we have learned with FDG TV is sometimes people watch these videos and they go, oh my God, that was so good, or that was so useful. And so it can seem like such a silly idea in the moment, but in reality, it can have a big impact on people. Thanks to Mike, because Mike is also part of the production team. Sorry, let me bring him back. Mike, buddy, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
You're great. Also, not just for Best Paper Watch, which, for clarity, Mike does all the Best Paper Watch on his own.
Yep.
He gets no support from us. He's just
solo artist.
He is a solo artist. He just kind of goes away and is like, oh, maybe I'll do this. And then he just runs off and does it. And so, like I said, we pre-recorded all the episodes. I didn't get to see FDG TV until I edited the episodes together. So we had no idea. He gave us some notes in the production as to what the episode was going to be about, and then we're like, all right, okay, we'll find out. And also, but he's part of the early phase as well. He's very much involved in the speakers that we get in reaching out to the speakers, actually. That's also one of Mike's big jobs. He helps run the green room, because we actually record in a breakout room in Zoom. This is why we need a blog post, by the way. And then he welcomes the guests and he helps the guests come in. Mike's very much involved in a lot of the process of this, and he does Best Paper Watch. So
Yes.
we miss you, buddy.
Thank you, Mike.
And thank you to
Tommy.
Oh,
Tommy.
I guess me. All right.
Yeah, thank you, Tommy, for pressing all the
pushing
buttons.
Exactly.
And also, agreeing to do this in the first place, because it wouldn't exist without you. And doing all of the editing.
And for all the segues.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Sorry, just pushed the wrong button there for a second.
Right.
But of course, thank you to all of you.
Yes.
For checking this out and watching this nonsense and supporting this nonsense. Thank you to everyone who submitted their photos to the community challenge. Yes. Thank you to everyone who was willing to be interviewed by Antonius live at the conference, which I can appreciate.
Single take.
On single takes too. Particularly if some random dude with a GoPro comes up and goes, "Hi, please talk to me about your research." I can appreciate
Someone
that
like
might
me,
seem.
Specifically.
I wasn't going to say it.
How about you come with me, sir?
Come with me and tell me about your research.
Yes. In the garden next to a bush where someone else.
But yeah, so thank you to to everyone who submitted photos, to everyone who was interviewed. Thank you to everyone who has watched all the episodes. Thank you to everyone who's going to watch the videos. Thank you to all of you who tuned in for the live thing. And we'll end on a happy note. On the best of notes.
Antonio says something to say.
Oh no!
To also thank Jim Whitehead for continuing to support us.
Yep.
And
thank you, Jim.
Goodness.
Forgot
Jim, I hope you're not watching this and
regretting your decision, sir. Regretting your decision.
Before you go back and edit it, so we didn't actually nearly forget to thank him. You can do that, right?
Oh no! This is out in the internet now. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. It's ruined.
Okay, well, hopefully Jim will just kind of space out for those 10 seconds.
Jim's part of all the people who support and watch all this nonsense, so he's all about it.
I honestly think we've spaced out since the beginning of this.
Actually, we also forgot to thank the FDG 2022 committee, because in order for this to work, we have to.
Oh my gosh!
I was going to say request, but hear this as pester.
Yes.
The organization, because it's like, we need the papers, we need to send us papers, we need to know what papers are accepted, because
we need
then
to know what
we
the best
start
the best papers are.
Right, we need to know what the best papers are. We need to know what all the papers are that are accepted, because then that helps us begin to finalize down the list. So,
and because we pre-recorded, we needed to know it even earlier than usual.
Yep. Even the schedule as well. And we had to do a lot of prep work.
And we've all been involved in organizing conferences ourselves. In fact, we've all been involved in organizing FDG at some point. Antonius, you were chair 2 years ago. So yeah, we know how much of a
Sweet summer child
pain that is to try, and it's hard work to put together a conference. It's even more hard work when you've got us. And it's usually Antonius, because Antonius acts as our representative, like, papers, where? And so yeah. Jason Cobble says in the chat, thanks to everyone involved in the production. This is my window into the conference, and I learned so much from the interviews you share.
That's great.
Yay!
That's the
Thanks a lot.
point of this. So that's wonderful. Happy to hear
That
that.
made our day.
I think we should just end on that.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. You're the best.
There were no bloopers. Everything was perfect.
There was no bloopers.
Nope.
Everything went perfectly. Enjoy.
Everything was perfectly. Bye.
And I'm running out of things to say, but it's okay because we're going to edit all this out anyway, right? Tommy, we are going to edit all this out. Are you ready?
Sure.
Just seen in giant letters. Go. Okay.
The shortest episode.
No, I don't think it was. No. It's fine.
Yeah. Like, once we cut out the crap, this will be like 2 minutes of Anne and I, and then just all our guests, because our guests were wonderful. Make sure the recording is on, in case I forget, because that will be awkward. Antonius, am I allowed to go straight into the first interview segment or not? I'm going to cut this bit anyway. I then read that literally and got very confused, and that's my doorbell ringing, and I need to go and get it. Shake it off. Okay, yeah, that's going in the gag reel.
There's nothing wrong with
My
that.
highlight of FDG TV 2022 is Anne just yelling, "Bebe!"
Bye-bye.
I'm assuming Antonius is ready, and I'm just...
Him off more.
We'll let everybody come in, and then I'm just gonna magically edit all this together as if I somehow did it all perfectly on the day. Info, and I'm like, what am I doing? What question am I asking? Is this okay? Are you happy with this? I don't understand what's going on. Okay.
Yeah, I'm really glad you highlight stuff, because obviously I was just like, wow, Antonius must be busy because of the green room, and that's why he's not chatting in the chat. And so I'm like, well, he's highlighting, so I guess I'll just go for it. I like that shot because Kaylee looks like she gets one of the. There we go.
Yeah,
There
it's
we go.
like that's her dedicated camera.
We're not actually.
We're not live. We're not
professionals.
That's for sure. Yeah.
We're not professionals, and this is not live currently. Like the trill at the end. And your biscuit discord. Discourse.
My biscuit discourse. My Biscord. Oh my god. It's a biscuit Discord. I'm going to invent that server as soon as this call's over, and I'm just going to invite Anne and nobody else, and we're just going to talk about biscuits.
No, you have to invite Antonio, so he has to mute it. Oh yeah, I've got dog biscuits.
See, I don't feed a cat. I don't know cats.
This is prime content that we're missing on. Like, this is all the likes and subscribes. Come on, guys. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I should turn the recorder off in case you say something incendiary.
Oh, that's what that matters, really, isn't it? Yes.
Well, nothing really matters. But
You know-
it's very bad.
I hope you caught Antonius just being like, because that is like pure Antonius.
Such a hypocrite, because if this was live, we'd be getting it pinged in the Discord going, this is boring, move it on, get the first
That is
Yes.
that is
Shut
correct.
up, shut
That
up.
is
We're
correct.
cutting all of this. We're going to f you, Antonius. Oh,
It
God.
straight up just said, y'all are terminated in the chat while we were doing this. And in this first episode, we'll find him in his natural habitat on a beach on the south coast of England.
Excellent.
At this point, I'm
Right.
actually going to cut to it. So we're pretending we're watching Best Paper Watch right now. But apparently he's chasing swans and looking at how technology affects art and vice versa.
Excellent. Let's roll it. Reset before the next guest.
God, we're getting old. The funny thing is, I always hold my expression there because I'm just going to immediately cut to it. And then I'm like, her, as you're like, let's roll it. I've got a funny feeling we're going to have a very awkward conversation once we go offline here. Stop moving the thing. I'm trying to read the thing.
I told
Take
you
four.
this was the episode that we got too comfortable. It's like everything is set up exactly the same, and yet day 3 stuff breaks. I don't get it. Tomorrow at FDG TV, we will also be outside touching the grass. Hopefully. Now it's starting to sound like a euphemism for something, I'm not sure.
This is the longest episode because it's just us up on loop.